Welcome to An Outsider's Guide to the Portuguese Culture, Volume 2. So don't be alarmed, but when you walk into a Portuguese restaurant in Fall River, Mass. And order a steak, 9 times out of 10 that steak has been involved in some type of violent blunt force trauma. Apparently Portuguese people cook the same way they speak, overly aggressive. A Portuguese person can tell you to have a blessed day, and if you don't know what they're saying, you'll be thinking they put a curse upon your house. Then you're gonna go home and Google what you heard. Good luck with that, because what you heard is not what they said because you're not Portuguese enough to understand it. Yeah, it's that crazy. Now back to the steak. They take a steak and they put 2 pounds of garlic and they release a rage only a person working 168 hours for the last 1,826 weeks can conjure up. They like their steak flat and their women with curves, and I must say they do pair well together. Portuguese women ironically look like the gates of city when they're laying down, except one's a 60-foot tall 3-arch monument and the other one's a 5-foot tall 2-arch monument. Both have beautiful architecture, though. I'm just saying, and I mean this with all due respect, but most of them got a rack like a reindeer and an ass thicker than a Snickers. Which would explain why Portuguese men hustle working like an Ethiopian custodian. If I could bottle that energy and sell it, I'd call it Ice Azush. When it comes to Portuguese women, in my opinion, it's the loudest one that's usually the sweetest. The one sitting there smiling at you looking innocent is the one that's gonna have her cousin Paula, who's been deported twice and somehow made it back, throw you a fucking blanket party because she don't like your ass. However, if you do find yourself invited to a Portuguese party and they ask you to bring pops, they're not telling you to bring your father. But if you do bring your father, they're going to treat him like family and feed him like a competitive eater. What they meant is pop sec, which means drugs in Portuguese. Nah, I'm just kidding. It actually just means dry bread, according to my Portuguese wife. But it's crack. Put a little bit of butter on it, a little bit of that sauce that comes with the steak, and it's amazing. Now, if you come to Fall River, you can pretty much get a Portuguese steak over here, over there, pretty much everywhere. My personal preference is I like Caravella, but there's a lot of great choices in this city. You can go to Mesa, Terra Nostra, TA's. These are all strong culinary choices that have delicious food, and I suggest you try all of them. So let's just be real. Pretty much everything the Portuguese culture has brought to this city is great. Exquisite cuisine and loud women who can fill a pair of jeans. And I appreciate that.